This is the new Microsoft Surface laptop powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon processor. No Intel, no AMD, just Microsoft and Snapdragon, and it's way better than I thought.
I feel good, you look great, I like you, I can't wait, a first time, a first date.
Now, a few years back, Apple switched away from Intel processors and they made their own Apple M series processors. They gained tremendous performance and battery life. Can Microsoft do the same? Is this the Apple silicon moment for Microsoft? Stay tuned and we'll find out. So what's the deal with Snapdragon and why has Microsoft chosen to equip all of their Surface devices with the new Snapdragon chips? The main focus is that they offer significantly better battery life as well as boosted AI performance. There is no more Intel options. So Microsoft is all in on these ARM chips by Qualcomm. In the past, Microsoft did make a Surface RT, which also had an ARM design chip, but they failed pretty bad because the technology wasn't quite there yet. The performance was abysmal, plus the app support was just terrible. Nothing worked. But times have changed, and now these new Qualcomm chips are extremely impressive in this new Surface laptop. So I'm going to show you my real user experience and compare it with my Yoga 9i, which is currently my daily driver. And in the end, I'm going to decide if I'm going to keep the Surface or stick with the Yoga 9i. As far as specs goes, this is a 13.8-inch model. There's two versions of the Snapdragon chip. There's the X Plus, and that's what's in this one. There's also the X Elite, which is a more powerful version. This one's got 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. As always, starting with the build quality, the laptop feels extremely nice. The overall fit and finish, I hate to say it, it's better than my Yoga 9i. The quality of the laptop, the craftsmanship, the sharp edges, the rounded corners are just fantastic on this unit. Right away, the trackpad is large, it's smooth, and it is a haptic trackpad, so there's no actual click. It's a little motor inside that when you press, you feel a little vibration. So that allows you to click anywhere on the trackpad, compared to my Yoga 9i, which the top part doesn't click. You have to click towards the bottom part. The keyboard is also fantastic. One feature I like is that the function key is a toggle. You don't have to actually hold the function key. You just press it on and off, and if it's been enabled, you can use all the function rows like changing the keyboard brightness or the screen or the volume. But one thing I didn't like is that the backlit keyboard does not have an auto mode like my Lenovo. So you can just turn it on to 3 different brightnesses or off, whereas the Lenovo actually has an auto brightness feature that you can leave on, and it detects the light in the room. If there's a lot of light, the keyboard will turn off the backlighting. Once it goes dark, the backlighting automatically comes on. The display quality is actually really good on this unit, even though mine is not an OLED model. Now, one weird thing is that the display resolution is kind of a weird number. A lot of modern laptops are starting to go to non-standard display resolutions, but you do get 120 Hz, so it's very smooth in its operation. Compared to the OLED screen in my 9i, it doesn't look all that different. The fact that this is not an OLED, but it still produces fantastic colors and very deep blacks is super impressive. I'm not sure the secret sauce that Microsoft is using here to achieve that, but I really thought it was an OLED screen. I had to double check that. That's how good the screen is on this model. Now, if you do go for an X Elite model, they do come with an OLED screen. But if you compare with the Lenovo Yoga Slim, that one does come with an OLED screen. It also has an X Elite chip, and at the time of looking at them, I was able to get that one for a few $100s less than this Surface laptop. So you can get a lot more value by looking at Lenovo's models, but there's a reason that Microsoft charges more for these, and we'll get into that in just a second. Here are the ports that come with the laptop. You got a headphone jack, a USB Type A, and 2 USB Type Cs. And on the right side, you just have the magnet charger, and the magnet charger does actually connect both ways. So this is with the cable going towards the front of the laptop, and this is with the cable going towards the back of the laptop. And here's a quick sound test. So the speaker's actually built into the hinge right there, and they're facing towards the screen, which actually makes the audio bounce back directly towards you. It's a pretty interesting design, and they do sound quite good. Okay, let's get into performance. So as you can see in Geekbench 6, the single core performance of the Snapdragon X Plus is very similar to the Core Ultra 7 that's in my Yoga 9, but it does outpace it in multi-core processing. However, the Yoga 9 really reels it back when it comes to graphical performance. You're getting about 50% better performance with the Core Ultra 7 compared to the Snapdragon X Plus chip. So graphics is where these new Snapdragons are still not quite there yet. But a nice thing is that the performance did not change at all compared to if it was on battery or if it was plugged in, and that's super refreshing to see. We have all these options in the Windows ecosystem now that give you the same performance on battery compared to being plugged in. If you are planning on doing any sort of gaming, then the Surface laptop is definitely not the laptop for you. Okay, what about application compatibility? Everyone's heard these new ARM chips. Some programs don't work because they're ARM based and not x86 based, like what you can get from Intel or AMD. In my workflow, everything I tried to install worked. Chrome worked, OBS Studio worked, DaVinci Resolve even installed and had pretty good performance on the Snapdragon. I was quite impressed with that. So as a user, I felt no compatibility issues. I just clicked, installed, everything worked as I expected. I didn't notice any sort of an issue when it came to compatibility. The system felt extremely responsive, very smooth. It was very impressive. It was super snappy. I didn't feel a single lag at all while using it. And even when it came to multitasking, switching apps, everything was just completely seamless. Now, as far as gaming goes, that is unfortunately where the Surface laptop completely falls flat on its face. Cyberpunk crashed right away. God of War didn't open at all. And while I could get Spider-Man Remastered to open, the settings I had to lower to get the game to run in any sort of a smooth fashion was just terrible. It looked like PlayStation 1 graphics. Everything was blocky, there was artifacting, there was assets missing from the game. The gaming performance was just abysmal on this laptop. Even if you're doing casual gaming, you really should go for something with an Intel or AMD processor because their integrated graphics have come a long way and can actually give you a pretty good gaming experience. If you're doing 720p, 1080p, low to medium settings, you can totally get away with some gaming with even a modern entry-level Intel and AMD processor. Now, Microsoft is also focusing a lot on AI tasks with the Snapdragon chip, and it does offer 45 TOPS of AI performance. But my thoughts on AI is that the majority of AI tasks are really being powered by the cloud. It's all being processed on a server in some big data center somewhere. So I really don't think a lot of folks really care about the AI performance locally on a machine unless you're trying to run your own large language models locally. And in that case, you need a big desktop with the NVIDIA graphics card or something like that. None of these devices are really optimized for a task like that. Okay, what about battery life? That's the big focus with this laptop. How does that perform? Now it's time for an epic battery test. I've got the Yoga 9 on the left and the Surface laptop on the right. And just as a wild card, I also have the Yoga 7 in the middle. This one is actually the 155U chip compared to the 155H that's in the Yoga 9. So that should give us substantially better battery life. They're all set to 35% screen brightness. They're all on power save mode and all the backlit keyboards are off. I'm gonna play the same video and start the timer. Okay, it has been 7 hours and 56 minutes. The Yoga 9 is at 9%. The Yoga 7 is at 48%, which is amazing. And the Surface is at 57%. So I'll call it now 9%. I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the Yoga 9. It's officially in last place. I'm gonna go back to sleep. It's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm gonna come back in the morning and see where these guys are at. Okay, the Yoga 7 is now officially at 9% battery, and that's at 13 hours and 52 minutes. So we're gonna call it Yoga 7 is officially out. Okay, so that's it. The Surface laptop is now down to 9%, and the official time is 15 hours and 17 minutes. I totally understand why Microsoft has went with these Snapdragon processors. You just can't argue with this battery life. So my Yoga 9 got absolutely dusted at about 8 hours, and that was at 9% battery life left. The Yoga 7 was actually super impressive. Remember, that's still an Intel processor, and the fact that I was getting under 14 hours and still having 9% of battery life left, with the way that was going, it could have went for another hour, hour and a half before it totally died. So that Yoga 7 was super impressive as far as battery life go, but still, it could not keep up with the Surface laptop at a whopping 15 hours and 17 minutes of continuous video playback. I could not believe how good the battery is on this laptop. It's super impressive, and it just goes to show you that the hype is totally real. These Snapdragon chips are that good when it comes to efficiency. The fact that it gives you faster performance than the Core Ultra 7 and basically double the battery life is just completely outstanding. And remember, that was still at 9% battery life left. This machine could probably go for another hour, hour and a half, maybe even an hour and 45 minutes before it totally got to 0% battery. As far as heat goes, I really haven't felt the laptop get too hot at all, other than gaming. Gaming really pushes it to its limits, and the laptop only feels warm towards the top part of the keyboard here, but the palm rests and the trackpad stays super cool to the touch. So even if you are gaming, it's still going to be very comfortable to keep your hands on the laptop. And also, gaming was the only time I actually heard the fan running. There certainly is a little bit of fan noise, but most of the time, under normal usage, you're not going to hear a peep out of this. So for a quick comparison between a Surface laptop versus the Yoga 9, here are the benefits of the Surface laptop. It has a slimmer body. It comes with no bloatware, no pre-installed software. It's a super clean and minimal installation of Windows, which is amazing. It's got that magnet charger. There's no ridiculous stickers on the body. It technically has the faster processor between the two, and it opens with one finger perfectly every single time, whereas the Yoga 9 doesn't always open with one finger. It feels like the hinge needs to break in a little bit before it does that consistently. But the Yoga 9i's strengths is that it has a better webcam at 1440p versus 1080p in the Surface. And here is the camera and microphone test on the Surface laptop 7th generation. Now, I really don't think it's the best camera. It's a 1080p 30 frame per second camera. It's a little bit soft and blurry for my liking, but the sound quality is pretty sharp. However, the video quality on the Lenovo Yoga 9 is certainly better. And now here we are on the Lenovo Yoga 9. As you can see, the image quality is significantly sharper. This is a 1440p webcam, but I do think the sound quality is not quite as crisp as a Surface laptop, so there's a bit of a trade-off there. So you have to decide which one is more important for you. It does have a fingerprint reader as well as Windows Hello. It's got, of course, that 360 hinge, so if you do want to use it in a tablet mode, you're gonna have to go for the Yoga. It has significantly better graphics performance, not only as far as the frames per second you're gonna get, but also the compatibility of games and what will actually run. And it has overall better application compatibility. Like I said, I had no issues with the Surface, but I'm sure there are programs out there that won't install on the Snapdragon processor. You also get a pen with the Yoga, and it does have better keyboard lighting. It's just brighter, and it's got that auto setting that's missing on the Surface. But I'm going to be doing a full head-to-head breaking down everything between these two laptops and comparing them directly. So get subscribed so you don't miss that video. Okay, here are the overall pros of the Surface laptop. The build quality is outstanding. It feels great in the hands. It's certainly a high quality device. I love the haptic trackpad. It's super nice to use, and you can click anywhere. There is no bloatware, a super clean, minimal installation of Windows. I never saw any ads or any McAfee antivirus. There was no extra garbage software. It was just Windows done right. The screen is crisp and 120 hertz. It looks fantastic, even though it's not an OLED. Comparing the two, I really saw no significant difference. I would be totally happy with the screen. I love that it's got the magnet charger. I think every laptop should have that. And it does also charge the USB port. I use my Lenovo's USB charger and the Type-C ports on this one, and it worked fine. And it's really simple, but there's no stickers. And that says a lot about this laptop. It's clean, it's minimal, it's just what you want. But as always, it's not perfect. So here's what I was not so happy with when it came to the Surface laptop. At the end of the day, it does cost more than other brands. You can get a faster processor and an OLED screen if you go for the Lenovo Yoga Slim, also powered by Snapdragon, but that won't give you as nice and clean of a body. It's going to have Lenovo Vantage built in and probably McAfee and some other bloatware. It's not going to give you the magnet charger, and you won't get that optimization of hardware and software like you get from the Microsoft Surface. But technically, Lenovo does offer you more value as well as other brands, so you are paying a premium for the Surface. It does not have a 360 hinge. I would really like to see a model where the screen flips all the way back so you can use it as a convertible, use it as a tablet. The way Microsoft is doing their product line is they have the Surface that has a removable keyboard. That's basically basically a tablet where you can attach a keyboard with a stand at the back, and then they have the Surface laptop. I would like to see both those put into one device, just like how Lenovo's done with their Yoga line. If they could do a 360 hinge on this body, that would make it even better. It does not have a fingerprint reader, so you're gonna have to stick with Windows Hello or using your password. The web camera quality is not so great. The Yoga is significantly better, although I did find the sound quality to be better on the Surface laptop. Gaming is a big one. It's basically non-existent on this device. Most games don't open at all, and if they do, they'll crash right away, even on the lowest settings. Of course, if you want to stick to cloud gaming like GeForce Now and other stream services, you can do that on any laptop, even a Chromebook. But any sort of local gaming, the Surface laptop is just not worth your time. Another small thing is that it technically does not have an OLED screen, and that only comes on the X Elite models. But like I said, the screen was still pretty good. I do have to mention it as a con because you can get an OLED screen from Lenovo at a lower price point than the Surface. So what are my final thoughts? What surprised me about the Surface laptop is just how well everything worked, considering that this was a new architecture. When Apple switched to their own Apple Silicon MacBooks, a lot of programs broke and a lot of stuff didn't work correctly, but Microsoft kind of learned from that, and they've done a very good job of making the transition to ARM-based processors very smooth. Your normal day-to-day casual user wouldn't notice any difference between this laptop and an Intel-powered laptop. I love that there is no bloatware and no ads, no built-in McAfee, this and that, because there's no third-party company in the middle trying to make an extra buck. You're getting it directly from Microsoft, and you can feel how simple and clean and optimized the software and the hardware are. It truly is Microsoft's MacBook, and it shows. That's why I believe you pay a premium to get this laptop over other Windows manufacturers, is that optimization and that super clean, minimal experience, as well as the tremendous battery life. I understand why Microsoft is going in this direction. It makes a lot of sense, especially as applications and games are being more and more compatible with the Snapdragon processor. So who is this laptop for? If you like the smooth experience and premium feel of a Windows laptop directly from Microsoft, then this is it. If you're a MacBook user who needs a Windows laptop for whatever reason, and you're looking for that it just works experience, there is no other laptop in the Windows ecosystem that can do that other than the Surface. You got magnet charging, no bloatware, no ridiculous stickers, plus you get a touch screen with Windows Hello Face ID and some of the best battery performance in the entire laptop industry. But just be prepared to pay a premium over offerings from other companies like Asus, Dell, Lenovo, and others. If you're a gamer, this is not for you. Even if it's just casual gaming, stick with an Intel or AMD laptop because they just have better compatibility and much better performance at this moment. And if gaming is your priority, you definitely want to get a gaming focused laptop with a dedicated NVIDIA or AMD graphics card. The Microsoft Surface laptop is a standalone product in the Windows world, and it charges a premium for it. So which one am I going to stick with? Well, for now, I'm still going to stick with my Yoga 9 because I do prefer the graphic performance of the Intel chip. Even if I don't game too much on it, I like to know that it's there for the odd time I'll hop into a game if I'm away from home. I like the 360 hinge. I much prefer the OLED screen of the Yoga 9 compared to the Surface. I like the better keyboard lighting and the fact that it has the auto feature, and I prefer to have the fingerprint reader for logging in case Windows Hello doesn't see me properly. And like I said, I'm going to be doing a full head-to-head comparing these two laptops directly and breaking down all the differences in performance. So get subscribed if you want to see that. Also, check out my full review on the Lenovo Yoga 7i, which offers tremendous value when compared to both of these laptops, since it costs about half as much as they do and yet beats both of them in many ways. Let me know if I missed anything and I'll cover it in a short video. Hit that like button, leave me a comment. My name is Baz and you're watching Pro Shopper. On this channel, we focus on making tech buying easy. If that sounds good to you, then I hope to see you in the next one.